plan on going back to UFC.
You do?
If they'll have me, I would like to go back and fucking whoop someone's ass there.
Well, who would you want to, if it was offered? Justin Gaethje, it sounds like.
I'm not fighting at 55 though, but right now I'm not fighting there because there's nobody to fight really. It's kind of slow rolling.
Like UFC would.
I don't really have a name in mind right now in the UFC. That's why I'm not there right now. Otherwise,
but the name, the draw, the excitement that you'd bring to it, I feel like it's really lacking in UFC. Everybody's rushing, everybody's
I would
wrestling.
be there if there was somebody that I wanted to go fight. But
I want to see the rubber match with Conor McGregor.
With time for sure. Yeah, whenever he's back. Me and him for sure got unfinished.
If there's another fight that would sell and it would be huge, it would be that. It would be Diaz 3.
Oh yeah.
That could be, especially if Diaz gets past Poirier.
Yes.
Even if he doesn't. I mean, just that fight alone. I mean, there's the history between those two guys. I mean, that would be.
And it's so appealing stylistically as well. The fight, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm a grappler at heart. I love grappling, but I also understand that a jiu-jitsu tournament will put people to sleep. You know, even if you're into jiu-jitsu, it's hard to watch a jiu-jitsu tournament.
Yes.
But anybody can see a punch hitting someone in the head and them falling down. That's that's exciting. And him and Diaz is such a great personality matchup. It's such a great skill clash. You know, if I was to design somebody that's going to bring the best out of corner, you'd want someone that, you know, can hit back and take a big shot and put up at the trash. It's a beautiful fight. I would love to see that rematch.
Yeah, the thing about Diaz when they first fought was that he didn't give a fuck about trash talk. It didn't bother him at all. It was.
As the door swung open, everyone could feel the tension rise. Nate Diaz stood there, a reminder that some rivalries never fade. With one finger pointed squarely at Conor McGregor, he held up the White House card like a challenge. No talk of legacies, no mentions of titles, just the raw force of history and unfinished business. In that moment, the chaos was palpable, and the rivalry that had never truly died was back in full force. This isn't about media soundbites, it's the real deal.
That Conor McGregor is being talked to headline the White House card. I don't buy it. I can't buy it. Why are we would be turning to Conor McGregor? And the answer is also out there, because he is the sport's biggest star. That is true. So is that what you need? If you've got the open checkbook and you've got the magic wand, without saying names, do you say, I'm going to put as my main event the sport's biggest star? Is that your answer? Doesn't matter who he's fighting. What if it's a championship match? If you have an open checkbook and you have a magic wand and you don't use any names, but you're going to put the championship on, would you say heavyweight? Would you say women's 135? Would you say wherever Kazmat Chimaev's at? Like, how is it that you would answer that question? And then what if you're really going to go for a big fight? What if you really follow this for a long time and you're going to do what we used to call a super fight, but now we call it title versus title? You're going to take the champion of a weight class and you're going to put them with another champion of a...
Nate Diaz didn't dance around it. The only name that mattered when the White House card was presented was Conor McGregor. No gimmicks, no flashy sales pitches, just the truth. Nothing else really compares. If McGregor's not the one, Diaz is all in. The fans are clamoring for it, and the third chapter of their saga is still there, waiting for the perfect moment to unfold. No permission needed. Everyone knows exactly why.
Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE. So
right.
It's like, at least that's happening and it's getting something to talk about, something to watch. And I'm looking forward to that fight, actually.
Now, fans want it.
Devontae and Paul should be good. And then, because what else are you looking forward to? Hurry up?
Nothing.
Hurry up, what else?
If it's not you, McGregor, Ryan, it's nobody.
So it's good. It's good.
Now, fans want you versus McGregor 3. Do you want that fight?
Yeah, for sure.
White House?
Yeah, what time does? We'll see what happens. Time will tell.
Without shutting it down completely, Dana White tempered the excitement around the trilogy. He pointed out that in this sport, time is the real wild card. A single year can alter the entire landscape, especially with McGregor teasing a return and Diaz keeping his options open. Right now, any certainty about the fight is irrelevant. Fighters, champions, and priorities can all shift. By next 4th of July, the entire scene could look completely different. The idea isn't off the table, but it's not quite time to make it official.
Diaz said he would love to be the opponent. Are you interested in that trilogy?
That fight's a year away. Landscape will change so much by next 4th of July. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to be on the card? What the main event will be, or who will hold all the titles? Everything could be completely different, so it's not even worth thinking about it right now.
While Dana White takes a wait-and-see approach, Michael Bisping dives straight into the big picture. If Nate Diaz makes his return, and Conor McGregor comes back for real, Bisping sees no reason to hesitate. This is the fight to make. Their rivalry already stands as one of the biggest in UFC history, and putting it on a White House card would instantly elevate the entire event, especially with other major matchups in the mix. For Bisping, it's not just about promotion. He understands that McGregor may not need another fight, but fighting is part of who he is. The lure of one last moment, one final win, pulls McGregor back into the spotlight. That historic vibe, it's almost inevitable.
To see it, if Nate Diaz was to come back. But if he was, and if Conor McGregor does actually make it back, I think that's the fight to make all day long. The one-on-one, there were some of the biggest fights in UFC history. Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor at the White House would be absolutely insane. It probably will have Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones in the main event. It probably will have Conor McGregor versus someone, Michael Chandler or Nate Diaz, in the co-main event. So that just kind of sets the tone for how big that card would be. What do you think? Do you think Conor McGregor will actually make it back? Of course, he hasn't fought since 2021, right? It's going to be 5 years since he last fought. I, for one, fair play to the guy. Fair play, man, respect. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to come back. He's got lots of other avenues and ways to make money, but fighting is something that never leaves you, okay? It's a part of who you are. It's in your DNA. It's part of your soul. And he wants to come back and he wants to get his hands raised in victory. Of course, he wants to come back and be a part of that.
When it comes to super fights that could truly shake up the sport, he pointed to Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira as the one that would eclipse everything. Pereira's rapid rise, his undeniable star power, and his accomplishments across multiple divisions make the matchup almost surreal. Bisping argued that if Pereira were to defeat Jones, it would solidify a legacy that no one has ever touched. At the same time, Bisping kept it grounded. The expected path still seems to be McGregor versus Chandler, but once politics, power, and personal relationships come into play, even the most concrete plans can suddenly shift.
Fair, if we're talking about super fights, if we're talking about something that's really going to get the MMA world excited, then it would be Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, right? Alex Pereira is one of the biggest stars. He came back in style and destroyed Magomed Ankalaev. The man's phenomenal. He's unbelievable. He's a two-weight division champion. What he's achieved in this sport is ridiculous. If he was to face Jon Jones and if he was to beat him, then I guess he would go on and fight for the third belt, and that'd be it. That'd be set in stone. Alex Pereira would, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, be the greatest mixed martial artist to ever compete. Simple as that. There's no one that's fought for 3 belts or won 3 belts. Just the thought of that alone is crazy. I mean, it took me about, 26 fights in the UFC to even get 1 title shot. So they're not easy to come by. Anyway, so there's that. Now they're talking about Conor McGregor fighting Michael Chandler. That's going to be the fight that happens. We all know about that. There's nothing new there. And the thing is, if Donald Trump wants it, if the President of the United States wants it, and as Eric says in that video, him and Dana are...
The MMA guru refocused the conversation on timing and context, bringing it back to the fans' perspective. He emphasized that the next fight to watch hinges on Nate Diaz making his return and delivering a statement win in the welterweight division. Only then would the trilogy with McGregor truly gain traction at the White House. As of now, hardcore fans are divided between Vidal or Glover Teixeira, but many, Ariel Helwani included, are quietly leaning toward Diaz versus McGregor as the next big marquee matchup.
Because that's not the fight I want to see next, okay? If Nate Diaz comes back and gets a big win over someone in the welterweight division, okay? And he does it impressively, and then the McGregor fight happens, that's when I'm interested. But right now, I feel like the hardcore fans are kind of in mutual agreement that it's Masvidal or Gaethje. To us, it's kind of Masvidal or Gaethje, and for Chael Sonnen and Ariel Helwani to both say that they think Nate Diaz trilogy should be next is strange to me. Very strange to me. Because I would love to see either Gaethje or Masvidal. I feel like everyone's in agreement here. We've seen that Donald Cerrone has been beaten by Conor McGregor in his return at UFC 2.
On the flip side, Chael Sonnen cut through the hype surrounding McGregor, approaching the White House card with a bit of skepticism. While he acknowledged McGregor as the sport's biggest star, Sonnen pointed out that star power alone doesn't automatically make him the best choice for a main event. He walked through the thought process of building a card with unlimited resources. Would you choose a championship fight, a heavyweight bout, a women's bantamweight title fight, or perhaps a super fight with a title versus title matchup? His point was clear: star power matters, but the real question is whether it creates a matchup that truly moves the needle.
Story that Conor McGregor is being talked to headline the White House card. I don't buy it. I can't buy it. Why are we be turning to Conor McGregor? And the answer is also out there, because he is the sport's biggest star. That is true. So is that what you need? If you've got the open checkbook and you've got the magic wand, without saying names, do you say, I'm going to put as my main event the sport's biggest star? Is that your answer? Doesn't matter who he's fighting. What if it's a championship match? You have an open checkbook and you have a magic wand and you don't use any names, but you're going to put the championship on. Would you say heavyweight? Would you say women's 135? Would you say wherever Kazmat Chimaev's at? Like, how is it that you would answer that question? And then what if you're really going to go for a big fight? What if you really follow this for a long time and you're going to do what we used to call a super fight, but now we call it title versus title? You're going to take the champion of a weight class and you're going to put them with another champion of a...
He went on to explain why the McGregor talk feels even more questionable. If you pencil him in for mid-2025 on a card set for 2026, at a venue that hasn't even been built yet, with tickets not even on sale, it starts to feel a bit far-fetched. The problem, he argued, is that if McGregor isn't a champion, or even in title contention, placing him at the forefront of a major event means the card's biggest star won't be fighting for a belt. A non-title McGregor headlining a historic card makes the bigger than big messaging harder to sell, even with 2 other titles up for grabs.
And it's one of the reasons that I'm struggling with the idea that McGregor is being penciled in the middle of 2025 for a card that sits dead center in the middle of 2026 at a venue yet to be built for tickets that are yet to be on sale. I struggle with it because we're openly saying if we're going to put Conor on there that there's no title. Unless you believe that Conor McGregor is going to demote himself, right? The biggest draw should be the main event. Your biggest star, regardless of belt, should be the main event. But in this case, if our biggest draw and our biggest star is not a champion or a contender in any weight class, we're going to acknowledge up front that our biggest show will not contain a title, which makes it a little difficult down the road to go, this show's bigger than big. In fact, we got 2 titles up. Yes, you heard me, there's 2 titles. When can you ever get that? And nothing more important than a title fight.
Then, Ben Askren threw a curveball at Nate Diaz's legacy. He argued that, while Diaz is beloved by fans and often hyped up, he's really just an average fighter who managed to sell himself as elite with a fairly modest record in the UFC and beyond. Askren framed Diaz's reputation as more about perception than actual performance, hinting that publicly calling this out might lead to a massive social media backlash. Love him or hate him, Askren's take is sure to spark debate across the MMA world.
No, listen, Nate Diaz, he is the most puzzling. He's not. I don't even think he's that good. I'll go get his record if you want me to. But he has convinced people he is good at fighting somehow, some way.
He's pretty good.
I'm gonna go get his damn record, Daniel. It's not.
But he won the Ultimate Fighter. I'm saying he was good for the time that he was fighting.
No, he wasn't. He was average.
He was. Yeah. Okay. I'm just.
Okay.
Trying
I'm gonna go get the record. I'm gonna go get the record. They're gonna yell at me. I know this. Okay. Let's see. Well, his record is 21-13.
Oh my God. Really?
Yes, that's not that great.
Okay, I take it back. I'm taking it back.
And he was going into the UFC, he was, I think it was 5-1. So within the UFC, he was 16-12.
That's not good.
That's not very good.
That's not good. There's really no way to twist that into good.
Yeah. So but you know, his personality, that's another one's like, how did his personality catch on? He says funny things sometimes. He's a little bit different. I don't. Yeah, and listen, if you post this clip, please don't post this clip because the Diaz army will attack me.
When it comes to the White House card, Daniel Cormier weighed in on the Jon Jones heavyweight talk with a dose of realism. While Jones moving up is intriguing, Cormier believes his best work, and the fight fans truly want, still lies at light heavyweight. He pointed to a potential showdown with Alex Pereira at 205 on the White House card as the matchup to make. Cormier acknowledged that Jones has bulked up over time, but feels that shedding the extra weight to make 205 is still within reach, keeping the dream fight alive. Meanwhile, John Anik shared his vision for the White House card, blending practicality with fan service. He suggested the main event should feature the heavyweight championship, likely with Tom Aspinall defending against Ciryl Gane, while also recognizing the buzz around Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, though that matchup remains uncertain. For the co-main, Anik penciled in a bantamweight title fight between Peter Yan and Merab Dvalishvili, hoping that by June 14th, fans could see 4 or 5 undisputed titles contested on the White House lawn. If the stars align for what could be a truly historic card, Brendan Schaub then laid out what he calls a dream card that would make any MMA fan lose their mind. He stacked it with names like Arman Tsarukyan, Islam Makhachev, Sean Strickland, Alex Pereira, and Jon Jones, alongside McGregor versus Diaz. Schaub called it the kind of lineup he'd pay top dollar to watch, but he didn't stop there. He also imagined must-see prelims like Gable Steveson and Bo Nickel, with Michael Chandler locked in, rounding out a card so explosive it could redefine fan expectations. In contrast, Henry Cejudo weighed in on the biggest potential matchups for the White House card without holding back. Fights like Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, Jones versus Francis Ngannou, and McGregor versus Michael Chandler were all on his radar, but he put his money on Jones versus Aspinall. For Cejudo, it's not just about rankings, it's about symbolism. On the 251st birthday of the United States, a clash of legacies, and a true greatest of all time versus the present. In his eyes, that fight isn't just big, it's the one that could define the entire card. So, what do you think? Will Nate Diaz return to face McGregor, or will McGregor line up a different challenger? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe for all the latest updates. You won't want to miss a moment of this.